session, and I'm really glad to see you here. So you can sit comfortably right in front of me. And today I really want you to feel relaxed and protected, so you can trust me and you can just relax and give me some honest answers and thoughts on different topics we are gonna discuss, right? In case you don't want to talk about something, I totally understand, so you can tell me right away. Just in case you find some question uncomfortable or confusing, just let me know, and please don't hesitate to do that. I will totally understand, so don't worry about that. And just in case you need to take a break to reflect on something and just to think about something, analyze something in your mind, you can also let me know, and we will take a pause anytime you need. Alright? Well, also, can I get you anything? Maybe some water, tea, cup of coffee, hot cocoa? Alright, you're good. Well, then just let me know in case you need something, alright? Well, and talking about our today's conversation, at the very beginning, I would like to tell you how much I actually appreciate your courage and how brave you were to come in the first place, to make an appointment with a therapist. I know that for many people it can be something quite challenging to do, and a lot of us usually procrastinate with therapy and stuff like that. So sometimes it takes quite a lot of courage to do that, and I'm so proud of you. Well, to begin with, could you please remind me your name? I know it's a cheesy question and I actually have your data, but I think it would be still great, just to get to know each other better, starting from names. Well, mine is Anastasia, and what about you? By the way, if you don't mind, I will take down some of your answers, alright? So, I wouldn't say that I really have a terrible memory or something, but still, I just want to be accurate and precise at our next sessions. So, of course, it would be better for me to actually take some notes, not to miss anything, not to mix anything up and stuff like that. I guess you would understand, so thank you for that. And let's start with talking about some really basic things. I know that some of the questions you might find really simple or trivial, but that's how it works, that's the way it works. And sometimes even talking about some really simple things, we can find the answers to the questions that have been bothering us for a while, right? So I like to ask you, what do you usually like to do in your free time? Do you have any hobbies or occupations that you like doing in your free time? Okay, wow, that sounds fascinating. Yep. And this feel? Is it like the hobby that you chose because it makes you particularly happy, or was this choice inspired by somebody else? Yep. Alright, well, and when it comes to choosing the hobby, the activity, like your pastime, your spare time, what do you think? Do you choose something that you have never tried before? Would you rather choose something that might be a little bit challenging for you, or would you rather stay in your comfort zone? Well, yeah, it's pretty common. And the next question obviously would be related to challenges. Since we started talking about that, how often do you accept some kinds of challenges that the life might give you? Yeah. Well, I guess that we actually live in the kind of era, the kind of time when it is very common and it's quite imposed to people that they have to accept some kind of challenges all the time and overcome some obstacles and stuff, which can be truly great, but I sometimes feel like it's kind of overrated. And at some point, by trying to kind of like overcome something and become better and better and more successful, we can get lost in the process and we might not enjoy it actually anymore. So yeah, I actually think there should be some kind of a golden middle, right? Well, and then what do you think in general for you in your free time? Is it really important for you to be busy all the time? Do you ever take time to reflect on something, just to relax and do nothing, just think, dream of something? Or are you trying to keep yourself busy all the time without taking much time to think, relax, reflect on something? Yeah, I guess that's a very common issue that many people face nowadays. Yeah, totally. I get it. Yeah. I could relate even so. I totally get it. Okay. And then, since we started talking about spending our time alone or with somebody else, so how often do you spend time just on your own? Having some kind of date doing something you enjoy, maybe going some places on your own, you know. Like, I have some friends who, like, weekly might have some kind of date with themselves, you know, when you simply go out on your own, visit some exhibition, museum, theater, whatsoever, like going to restaurants again by themselves and just taking this time to think, to reflect on what they like, what they dislike about the way their life is going, and so on, you know. So have you ever tried that? Or would you rather prefer to spend your free time with somebody else, being surrounded by people? Yeah. In your opinion, what would be the reason why so many people actually avoid staying alone? Yeah. I guess that explains a lot. Yes. True. Well, and then talking about that, what do you think when it comes to being sociable? How would you rate how sociable you are? Let's say on the scale from 1 to 10, like 1 being absolutely antisocial and 10 being like a really, really sociable person, like needing communication all the time. Yeah, you might think of it, of course, your, like, again, your estimation, your evaluation might not be super precise or accurate, but just in general, how do you see yourself? It might be actually different from what others would tell about you, but today I'm more interested in finding out what you think of yourself and how you feel about yourself. Okay, I guess it's some kind of a golden middle. Well, and then what do you think? How dependent are you on other people surrounding you? Yes. No, I get it. It can be hard to judge sometimes, right? Because sometimes we don't even realize we actually depend on somebody until we start thinking and analyzing, and then we might be really surprised and even shocked by that. And may I ask, who would be this person in your life that you really depend most on, that you are most attached to, let's say emotionally? think actually how good or bad is it to rely on somebody? Because I met many people who would be really ashamed or afraid of relying on somebody, on being like dependent on somebody, or being attached to somebody, which is not something you should be ashamed of or afraid of, right? So we are all people and it's totally fine. But at the same time, I have met some people who would really lack this connection and who would be quite let's say concerned about not having this strong connection with somebody else, which again like doesn't make sense, right? So neither of this is good or bad, it's just the way it is. So what do you think when it comes to relying on somebody? It doesn't matter if it's like kind of friendship, relationship, romantic relationship, and any other kinds of interactions with people. So is it rather good or bad? Would you refer to it as a strength or a weakness? It's really so interesting for me to listen to your explanations, how you explain your opinion, how you express it. So yeah, now it's totally fascinating. It's not boring. These are not some like boring questions or answers. All things related to you and the way you feel are really, really important. Well, talking about being sociable and other kinds of like social connections and relations, what do you think for you when it comes to friendship? Is it more about quantity or quality? Would you rather have one close friend, or would you rather have a lot of friends but not so close? Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah, I totally got it. Wow. And then how much time, like how long would it take a person to become your friend? Yeah. Now I get it. Is it actually easy for you to open up and to trust people felt betrayed and like disappointed with somebody, it doesn't really have to be something super serious or super dramatic, but like, have you ever felt that somebody didn't really meet your expectations? Yeah. And then the question that is quite related is like, do you usually have some high expectations of like from people, or in this case you're trying not to expect too much? Well, yeah, like, I guess it's this kind of like phrase or whatever it is becoming more and more common, more and more popular, but it might be quite trivial, but I guess it's true that, yeah, it's just more about our expectations, right? So you're mostly disappointed when you had like really, really high expectations, and in this case it might be rather our problem, not that person's problem. But yeah. Yeah, fair enough. What do you think when it comes to expectations and stuff like that? In this case, have you ever come across this situation when somebody would expect like too much from you, or like at least would expect something you couldn't give this person? Yeah, it can be quite exhausting to try to reach some kind of standards to, yeah, to meet somebody's expectations. And so many people face this problem. Actually, you can't even imagine how many, because it's just so common when we have troubles because we think we failed somebody or we let somebody down, but in reality it's not even about us. It's just about those people's hopes and the way they see us and stuff like that. So it doesn't really define us. Yeah, totally. Yes. Right. Yeah. That's actually smart of you. And then another question is, when it comes to your ideal friend or partner, what qualities do you appreciate the most? What qualities do you value the most about them? Yep. I mean, now of course it makes sense. As I said, like, none of your answers would be found as silly or trivial trivial or cheesy or whatsoever, so it's totally fine. Whatever you say is important. I mean, I'm serious. Yup. Agree. I actually couldn't agree more on that one. Well, and then what do you think? What qualities that you have, like some of your personal traits, character traits, your friends or family might find most valuable? Yeah. Well, again, it's not really about them because we're not asking them about it right now, right? It's rather what you find, like, yeah, like the most like valuable, the best like kind of qualities that you might have. Okay. Are there many things that you'd like to change about yourself? Is there actually anything that you would like to change about the way? It doesn't really matter, it can be anything. Like the look, the character, temper, like your behavior, your attitude towards something, like anything. Oh, like you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. I mean, yeah. No, like, I totally get it. I mean, we all have been there, so yeah. Well, when it comes to self-development, self-improvement and stuff, like, what is it for you in the first place? What would you refer to as some kinds of like, what do you think makes you better? Again, I guess that nowadays sometimes we are so keen on this perfection and self-perfection that we might not really enjoy the process, so we are so keen on the result that we don't really take time to process everything that is going on and to actually enjoy the process, to feel the moment, right? So there's so much pressure. Yeah, I feel like we all can. I feel it from time to time, like, having this this pressure from social media, like different kinds of influencers who show this perfect picture, which is in most cases not really true, not genuine, and how do I even put it? It's like it can be really, really a lot of pressure, and they kind of like impose to people some needs and desires and aims that we didn't really have initially, something we didn't even think of before we saw it, like on Instagram or somewhere else. So it's kind of tricky, right, to find this boundary between what's good for us, what can really contribute to our self-development, and what simply makes us feel not worthy enough and not complete. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of very, very like common issue right now. But I'm so glad that you're sharing your thoughts on that matter with me. So I mean it, yeah. I feel really like honored that you trust me with your thoughts and that you are very like sincere and honest with me now. Yeah. Talking about that, is there anything that truly inspires you and maybe even helps you kind of like feel the moment, be in the moment? So something that would make you just enjoy your life. Yep. Wow, that sounds quite fascinating. Yeah. Give me a second. Yeah, please go on. Yeah, right. True. That is actually true, yeah. It's actually, I think that for many people, it can be really important to find to find the thing that makes them happy. And to do that, it's like really, really cool to just analyze, think, because in many cases we simply don't even like think about that, right? We don't pay attention to that, so it's kind of weird, but so like so common, so natural at the same time, right? So we don't think about what makes me happy, what I want in this life, and we simply kind of like do stuff, our routine, like studying, working, and we don't even know what we actually want, what makes us happy, right? So how can we become happy if we don't know what would help us feel that way, right? What would make us feel that way? Yeah, totally, yes. Speaking of feeling happy, do you have any kind of guilty pleasures? So something, yeah. I mean, it can be like totally like anything in any kind of like food, music, movies, hobbies, whatever, like any kind of guilty pleasure. I mean, the concept itself is so kind of weird because, like, what we call guilty pleasure is something that usually is not like very, like, might not be very socially approved, or something not even socially approved, but what we think might sound or look cringy, kind of something like that. But it's quite funny. Yeah, because again, right, we are trying to correspond to some expectations of ourselves or somebody else, which is kind of ridiculous, but oh gosh, we do that all the time. Right? Okay. Cool. No, actually, I do share that one to some extent, so it's kind of yeah. Yeah. Cool. That sounds great, actually. Well, yeah. You know, that was actually so great, so wonderful to talk to you about these different things related to the way you see yourself and the way that you see the world around you. And like, yeah, today it's more like, yeah, like this acquaintance session, but it still helped me to understand so like many things, and I hope that it worked the same way for you too. Yeah. Right. I'm so grateful that you actually gave me your honest answers, that you didn't hesitate to tell me what you really think, and that we managed to actually discuss so many things we might not really think about in our everyday life, right? So yeah, I really appreciate that a lot. And as I said at the beginning, even the mere fact that you actually came to talk about stuff, and that you decided to start the therapy is already a huge step to understanding yourself and like exploring yourself. So I'm so proud of you, and yeah, yes. Well, yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's session, and next time we'll be able to discuss some things from a little bit different angle, from different perspective. Yeah, and like to talk about some other stuff, but it's really great that today we just took the time to talk about something, to reflect on something that, yeah, right. Absolutely. It's so cool that we are kind of like on the same page, on the same wavelength, and yeah, right. Thank you so much once again, and you can just, yeah, sure, you can just relax for another like 10 or 15 minutes. I have a break before another appointment, and yeah, you can just think, and you can sit and think of some questions you might have, and then if during this week before our next appointment you think of something that you might find quite important to discuss, and if you have any kind of question questions. Again, as I told you, there are no silly questions, there are no stupid questions, so please don't hesitate to ask me or tell me anything you might find essential. So yeah, that would be actually great if you take some notes in the process and whenever you think of something, because it often happens that we might have some questions and thoughts, but we don't like take them down, and then we can simply forget. Just like at the very moment when we come to our session, we are like, I don't know where to start and what to talk about. So it's totally fine if you don't take any notes, but it's also great if you do, if you have some things you'd like to discuss next time, and if you just take them down, don't forget, Well, once again, thank you, and yeah, you can just stay there for a while. There's no hurry, there's no rush, so yeah. No, like, I'm not gonna kick you out, just like anytime soon. It's alright, so